The Toronto Blue Jays have avoided arbitration with most of their eligible players, but Bo Bichette and the front office could not come to an agreement before the deadline. Not only that, but they were the furthest apart of any of the arbitration cases. The Jays and Bo went through something similar last year, but this is becoming a worrying trend for Toronto, so we'll break that down on this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. Got a lot to get into today. If you follow John Heyman on Twitter, you know that he was going crazy yesterday. It was arbitration deadline, and we'll break that all down for you, but we want to thank you all for the support. It's been unreal. The new year has gotten off to a great start, and we could not be more thankful for all of you.
Yeah, we're on the road to 6K subscribers, so if you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Daily videos. But yeah, a lot went down yesterday, especially in MLB land in general, but also in Jays land, and we're gonna get into the break down the truth behind Bo Bichette's contract a little bit, because obviously we've known this for a while. The major question of the future is more so behind Bo Bichette's contract than Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s, and Vladdy did avoid arbitration, whereas Bo Bichette didn't. He is the major key piece and the core piece who didn't come to an agreement. So I'll just pop up a few tweets. So that's what I was seeing on Twitter yesterday. This was before the deadlines. This was earlier yesterday morning. People on Twitter were saying, he's the Blue Jays writer, saying, going to an arbitration panel with Bo Bichette and Vladimir Jr., especially Bo, wouldn't be a good look for the Blue Jays front office. Let's hope a deal comes down the pipeline today. And then another one saying, if the Jays and Bichette can't come to an agreement today and are forced to meet with a neutral arbitrator, I think it becomes pretty apparent that Bichette will end up heading to free agency in 2026. There already seems to be a bit of a strain in the relationship. And then that obviously led to the ultimate tweet from Shai Davidi saying, Blue Jays and Bo Bichette are headed to an arbitration hearing after failing to reach an agreement. The club struck deal with its 11 other ARB players, so no one else. Vlad Guerrero Jr. did at $14.5 million come to an agreement. So, Peter, before we get into breaking this down a bit more, what are your thoughts on Bo not getting it, and I guess everyone else getting it, and him being the only one who didn't?
Well, there was also can you pop that back up for me one more time there, Nick? So there was a couple of other players as well that did not. Was it everyone besides Bo?
Everyone, yeah.
It was everyone besides Bo. Wow. Okay. Well, as I mentioned in the intro there, Bo and the Jays were the furthest apart of any of the arbitration cases. Teoscar Hernandez was $2 million apart with the Seattle Mariners. So it's just I guess Bo values himself a lot higher than the Jays front office does, and this is why I hate arbitration. You know, this is one of your star players, and you got to go in front of a judge now, in front of a third party, and argue why you still want him, but you don't want him at that price, and that will never sit right with me. The whole process is just weird. The Jays think he's worth $5 million. Bo thinks he's worth $7.5. What Bo Bichette makes next year is totally in his hands. Like in 2021, he had 6 wins above replacement. In 2022, he had under 4 wins above replacement. So if he replicates what he did last year, then he's going to get the same amount of money, and they're going to go through the same process the next offseason. But if he has 6 wins above replacement in 2023, then he's going to basically force the hand of the Blue Jays and force them to give him the money that he wants. Now it's just a weird process, like I said, but man, I do think this relationship is turning sour pretty quickly, and it still has 3 years of control left, so it's not the end of the world. It's not like he has a choice to go anywhere else at this moment in time, but it's got to get resolved quickly if they want to talk about a possible extension.
Yeah, and it's definitely not getting any better, the relationship, and who knows how bad it truly is. And like he said earlier, I already showed this screenshot. This guy said it becomes pretty apparent that Bichette will end up heading into free agency in 2026 if they didn't come to an agreement, which they didn't. I don't know if it's that extreme, that clear cut, but who knows? And a couple more screenshots. This is from Jeff Passan, and you kind of alluded to this a little bit. There are a total of 33 unsettled cases. The biggest numbers: Teoscar wants 16, Seattle wants 14. The largest spread, Bo Bichette won 7.5. Toronto offered 5, meaning there's a $2.5 million difference. And that in itself is a pretty bad sign. The biggest difference. So clearly there's a disagreement. And, you know, this has happened in the past, again, with Alek Manoah and Bo Bichette. But it happened with Bo Bichette again now for the second time. They couldn't come to agreement. And Do you think that this has a major, do you think this will affect anything going forward regarding an extension? Or do you think it's just, arbitration obviously not being really, it needs to be changed, but do you think it has any impact?
I think it does. I think it has a huge impact on what's to come for the Jays, for Bo Bichette. Uh, he'll definitely test free agency. He sees all the money that these shortstops are getting now. 5 million for Bo Bichette is it's kind of a bargain, even though he's got a lot of control left, and he is one of the elite players in the league. And when he gets hot, uh, he's in that upper echelon of offensive players. Now, if you take away his September last year, he had a very, very average season, and I think that number would probably be in the 3 millions, or the 4 millions maybe. So he played his way into a little bit more money towards the end of the season, but he can't have that up and down trajectory in 2023 if he wants any kind of significant money in the next offseason.
Yeah, and that's what a couple of people were saying on Twitter. I believe the Blue Jays writer said, but from the Blue Jays front office perspective, they're probably telling him like you had I think it was like a 105 OPS plus up until September, and then obviously you took off, which made your numbers way better. Plus below average defense. It's like who knows how he will do next season.
Not even below average. It's
Well,
like it's brutal defense, and it's not a knock on Bo Bichette. He's a great hitter, but he's just not there yet defensively. He's not a championship caliber shortstop, and they're trying to surround him with all these great defenders and make it easier for him. But he's got to figure it out sooner rather than later, because the Jays don't have that much time for him to do so.
yeah, that being said, who knows if he's the Jays could have just paid the extra 2.5 million, but maybe they're making a point, and I don't know, it's gonna be very interesting. A couple more screenshots here before we move on. This is from Shai Davidi. It gives a little bit of insight on the, I guess, the situation at hand. It's not entirely surprising that the Jays and Bichette didn't settle in the star shortstop's first trip through ARB, which was last spring. Declined the salary set by the team's scale for pre-ARB players, often a way to protest the offer. So clearly Bo is not happy. And then this is his stats. So we touched on this a little bit. You can see he had a 127 OPS plus in 2022, which was actually higher than his year in 2021, which was so good. The issue was obviously a lot of it came towards the end of the year. He had a lower OPS, but a higher OPS plus, meaning the league average was obviously down. But the defense is the kind of the critical thing here, and you can kind of see right here. This is his 2022 Baseball Savant page, 7th percentile outs above average, 46th percentile arm strength. Great hitter, phenomenal hitter, and I want to lock him up long term. It just doesn't seem like Bo Bichette wants to, or really that the Jays are pressing for it, or at least it doesn't seem like that from the outsider's perspective. I'm sure they are, but clearly if they really wanted him, they would have at least maybe matched the 7.5. It's only 2.5 million, but who knows?
Well, I mean, that's no mathematician here, but that's like a 50% increase on what the Blue Jays were willing
Yeah.
to pay. So you're going from 5 million to 7.5. That's quite a big gap there. Now, I don't know if anyways, it's not important. But Bo Bichette, his camp could argue that, hey, maybe we don't get into the playoffs without my month of September. You ever think about that? And then the Blue Jays say, well, maybe we're not in that position if you make your plays throughout the entire season. So there's two ways to look at it here. But as far as an extension goes, I don't think one is imminent, and I think the most important thing this offseason was to avoid arbitration with Vladdy and not strain that relationship, because you got to lock him up long term and do that as soon as possible. And Bo Bichette, I don't know what his future is with the Toronto Blue Jays. Maybe they just wait till he hits free agency and let him walk. Like, get 3 more very good years out of him and see what happens. Go from there.
Yeah, and that's how the video is focused on. The truth behind the contract is that it's not looking very good, and that this arbitration, it honestly it tells a lot about his future with the Jays, especially because he missed the last one. If he didn't miss the last one, then maybe you can make some arguments, but I don't know. It's 2 in a row he missed, and at least Vladdy got locked up for 14.5 million, which was kind of another scary thing. It was good to see that. But let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on the whole contract situation if you want to extend Bo. And we'll just quickly touch on this before we wrap up the video, which is Jays ranked 3rd in the top 10 lineups of 20 or going into 2023. I'll up the screenshot now. You can look at the other teams as well. So top 10 lineup 2023, obviously 1 Astros, 2 Padres, 3 Jays, Cardinals, Braves, Mets, Dodgers, Phillies, Yankees, Guardians. Peter, do you have any thoughts on this list, or would you change anything around, or do you like it the way it is? Obviously, the Jays are getting shown some respect here with their placement at 3rd.
I think the Yankee fans are a little salty about that ranking. I saw all the replies there saying, "How are the Blue Jays third? How is this? How is that?" I mean, the Yankees lineup didn't get any better. It didn't. They just kept Aaron Judge. Obviously, that makes your lineup pretty good, but you didn't make any additions there. The Blue Jays got more balanced. They got some more power, some more speed. I think their lineup did get better. And yeah, maybe they lost some pure hitters in Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Teoscar Hernandez, but they gained some all-around players in Dalton Varsho and Kevin Kiermaier and Brandon Belt as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this offense can do. I don't think they're going to have those outbursts that they did in the past couple years, like maybe 15 run games or 12 run games, but they'll consistently be putting up 5 to 7 runs a game, and I think that's what we could expect in 2023.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the Belt signing was huge. I think it will come back to this in a few months, the Belt signing specifically, and really think it was a big bargain. But I agree with you. I know obviously Yankees fans will probably be a bit upset by that, but I don't know. They didn't really change their lineup, and I think in general, obviously the Yankees have a phenomenal starting pitching staff, but I think in general the lineups above them are just better overall. You can let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on there. And it'll be interesting to see next year. But that'll wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys for all the continued support. We'll be going live a lot more, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks.